Do you ever? We talked about this before. Do you ever think about being a dad?
Yeah, I think about it, for sure. It's just, it just. I think I'm. What's the word? I'm thinking about it too much.
Shooting blanks.
No, I might be shooting blanks. Who knows?
Right,
but I'm just thinking about it. Like I'm precautious. I'm precautious because I want to be like aware. I don't want to just like blast off and I'm pregnant. I want to be like.
But you married, son.
No, I know, but I want to be like secure and own a house or something. You know what I mean?
Nah, nigga. Let me tell you that, son. You got gray hair, son. Don't do that, son. You got gray hair, son. Somebody told me once that. I know that white people, you know what? No, I'm not just trying to disown, discredit you, whatever. But it's a lot of planning. Like, okay, I need this, I need that.
Right.
But somebody said one thing about kids, they make you work harder for what you need to do to support them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying to go up there and just keep keep busting shots or whatever. But I think
it's like Idiocracy, the movie Idiocracy.
No, I
the
don't.
Mike Judge movie. That's what it's.
I hung out with Mike Judge.
What's that?
I hung out with Mike Judge.
I know, I saw that. That's why. Yeah, you should check out his movie Idiocracy because it's basically at this point it's a documentary,
right.
But it's about how there's a group of people that are like, oh, I don't know, like basically he's saying intelligent people think too much and then they don't have a kid, while dumb people are just having kids all day long. They're just like, hey, let's have some fucking drinks together and and then they have 12 kids.
You know who do that too and then miss out on kids?
Who that?
Some bitches is too positive.
Oh yeah.
You're the ones that I'm not saying that don't.
But they're
go
too
for,
picky. They're picky.
Yeah, picky, yeah. And then it's like, well, I need this and I need that. Not to say lower your standards or anything like that, but I know so many women that they so of the belief that I don't need a man for nothing. I can do this. A man can't do this. A man can't do that. And then as time goes on and on, they start getting older. That clock starts to ticking, and then they're like, maybe I should not tone it down, but like, you do need a man for something.
Well, now you don't. You can just buy that shit. You know what I mean? If you have the money.
What? But yeah, that's.
You can buy pregnancy.
You know, it's interesting that you said that because it really made me like. Before I had Austin, and I was getting up in age, where I started being content with the idea that I might not have kids. And if you don't come to that point where you're comfortable with it, it will drive you crazy. I was like, you know what? I got nieces, I got nephews, I got a career. And like for me, I've said this before, I ain't even know if I could hit a bullseye, son.
Right. I know the feeling.
I didn't even know, son.
I know the feeling.
When Stephanie told me she was pregnant, I was like, by who? I was like, by who?
You're ready to go on Maury.
Yeah, I was ready. No, not ready to go on Maury, but just because I haven't had when I was younger, I got those scares. But when I was younger, I was kind of wild. And I had situations where, man, I know I'm not alone when I say this, boy, but I would have had some goddamn kids.
I mean, I assumed that was the case.
I would have.
Right.
It was me being young. It was me being with women that weren't ready for that responsibility. I was not ready for a kid. Then as I got older, I kept saying to myself, what if? What if? And I had to rule that out because the what if didn't happen. And I thought I was out the baby making situation. And then I got blessed. I got blessed with Austin. I got blessed with Austin at an older age, especially for the black community. Motherfuckers be hitting you hard. You get to about the black community, you get to like the old age of 30 with no kids, they be like, what the fuck are you waiting for? They like, what the fuck are you waiting for, man, old ass motherfucker? And then I don't know one thing about being an older dad is like, I think sometimes you think you alone. You think it's like, oh, they're gonna be making fun of me on the playground. I'm the only old head. Everybody else got fucking hairlines. You got gray hair and shit. That's why if you're gonna be an older dad, you gotta get a lot of white friends. Cause
yeah, white people be doing.
Yeah, the white people like when I used to take my son to daycare
plenty
and
of
shit,
old people.
Yo, Everybody had gray hair, but that bitch, because they like you, they waited for the right opportunity. And I always thought I was alone, and to be quite honest, Deery, I was kind of somewhat embarrassed by it.
By not having kids?
No.
Oh, being an old dad?
Being an older dad.
Being an old dad's embarrassing?
You know, it's kind of embarrassing because, the difference is, like, I can't even talk to the people I went to high school with about fatherhood the way they know it because their kids are in college and shit. Their kids in med school and my son is in preschool.
That's hilarious.
And then, but I'm going to tell you that it wasn't this moment, but I remember when I was in Yellow Springs, Dave Chappelle did an interview with David Letterman for Netflix, right? Mm-hmm. So the next day, David Letterman I didn't know he was coming to our show. And I went on stage and I was doing my routine, and I do have a joke about being an older dad, how when I had Austin's first birthday party, I called my friends and said, could they show up to the birthday party? And it was like, well, if my son can get out of work. And it was a funny joke, right? But I didn't know that resonated with so many people. But I had did my show, didn't know Letterman was backstage. I get off stage, and I don't give a fuck. David Letterman is a powerful presence. Mm-hmm. When you look at David Letterman, you look at one of the best dudes to ever do late night TV. One of the guys that probably had a fucking dope ass life, did everything, smashed all the chicks at work before Me Too. He had to slow that shit down. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? Because they all did it. They all like, hey.
I think he got in trouble for it.
Hey, you want a job? You want to be my secretary? Get it? Secretary. But when I got off stage, I went in the back, and I was like, oh, shit. I'm looking at David Letterman right in his face. And the first thing he looked at me, he towers over me, because David Letterman is like 6'4", 6'5". And Letterman said, how old are you? And I told him how old I was, and he was like, how do you feel? I said, I feel good. He said, you think you should have did it earlier? And it was so dope that me and David Letterman are backstage having a conversation about being older dads. And then I was, not that I'm on the level of the financial success David Letterman has gotten over the years, but I said to him, I said, you get to a certain level of success in this business, and I know he's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? I say, and you look at all the things that you've done in your life, and you realize being a father is the greatest thing you've done or the greatest thing you could have done. And to be backstage, sitting back, talking to David Letterman about all things I could have said, how do you like my set? I never mentioned that shit.
Right.
I never mentioned any of that shit. The only thing we talked about was being older dads and how much that we appreciate it and how much it changed your life. It's just like some sense of calm, a sense of peace, and for some part, it's a sense of accomplishment. Because you can get all the success you want, then you ask yourself, okay, I'm going to be out of here. Who am I going to share it with? Who am I going to pass it down to? Who am I going to pass it down to? Do I want my legacy, whatever it is, or my name to continue? And that was the beauty of it for me. And then David Letterman, he saw my stand-up, and this might be featured in Dave Chappelle's documentary. He went on stage, and him and Dave was on stage, cracking jokes back and forth. And he said, Donnell is money in the bag. And I don't have a gay bone in my body, but when he said that, I was like, yes! But it made me really appreciate being an older dad, because I always say the advantage that my son has, me being an older dad, is that he gets granddad and dad in one motherfucker. You know what I mean? I have the energy of a 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old dad, right? But I have the patience of a granddad, which means that I keep snacks. I don't try to, all that right from wrong shit, like.
You keep a little bowl of candy?
I'm old school, some Werthers. Some Werthers, man. Werthers are grandpa. Yo, it's like, oh shit, this old nigga got the Werthers. You don't get Werthers from young dads. You get Now and Laters, you get Cheetos and shit. But Werthers, man. And kids know you coming out that Werther because that pocket be rattling and shit. Like, I'm not going to argue with him too much. If we get to a point where it's a decision, how do I get this kid to shut the fuck up? I know how. Werther.
Exactly.
It's worth the shot.